Um, I'd like to come back to that topic, but one of the things that maybe helps us better understand is PGE is obviously the new sort of thing, right? And it was a nickel. People talk about nickel, gold, but you mentioned rhodium as, you make this comment that now we have consistent grade of rhodium, and can you sort of give us a better narrative to that, or so that we can understand, is this going to be the thing for investors to look at when we talk PGE, right? Because PGE story is newish for your average investor.
Rhodium for us tells us a few different things about the mineralization that we're drilling. One is that we believe it is analogous to some of the deposits in South Africa. So in the South African area, there's Platte Reef deposits which have a similar disseminated style. And we don't, not to be mistaken for the southern bushveld where there's a very high grade platinum and palladium. So very different styles of mineralization in South Africa, one of which looks similar to what we're seeing at Norseman. So the rhodium, what it's telling us is that it looks similar to South Africa, and hopefully that will mean that the metallurgy is similar and that we'll be able to extract those metals. The rhodium is really the icing on the cake for any PGE deposit. It always comes out as a byproduct, and it's a good thing because it's such high value that it might, you can calculate the dollars per tonne, but I think the last time I did it was about $30 per tonne, even at a 0.05 grams per tonne rhodium, because the price of rhodium is that high. It's a long way down the track before we understand the metallurgy and whether we can extract those metals and what proportion we can get out, but it's telling us that we're in a similar mineralized system to other economic systems around the world, and that's really important for us.
Because the first time people took notice of what a PGE province was Julima, and you've come up with this, and from geology, you've learned all this is in Africa or in Canada and things like that, and far-flung places not in Australia. Is that a fair comment?
Yes, I think the palladium in particular, and to a lesser extent platinum in Australia, is very underdeveloped. It seems like the types of resources we have in Australia and in Western Australia especially are palladium dominant, and that's a great thing for the current demand which we see going into the future for palladium. So we're in the box seat as a global, in global terms, West Australia is in the box seat to produce and supply that palladium over the coming decades. So we have been, we're lucky, West Australian deposits seem to be palladium rich. There's more palladium than platinum, and we're entering a time in global industrial development where palladium has a high demand. So it's a good time to be exploring and developing resources.
Going forward, I guess, in your opinion, is the PGE story in Australia still new? I mean, we just said that it's still new, right? But what do people need to understand about PGE story that makes them, hey, this is for real? Okay, it's palladium, you've mentioned rhodium, but is there a mix, or is there just palladium is it, or platinum is it? Is there some sort of a suite that they should be looking at?
I think you're always looking for me to provide the
Mate.
the holy grail, the golden key. It's very hard to provide something which will say, yes, this is going to make money into the future.
Because when you guys put this announcement, right, we got like 5 elements. You're going thinking, what's going to be the holy grail, right?
Yeah.
You go, is this big good? And then sometimes, they're just byproducts.
Yeah.
But,
I think for us, we can say that it's driven by the sulfide content and the palladium within that sulfide. And I say that because the metallurgy targets the sulfide. So the sulfide is floated out. The metals that come with that sulfide are what can be recoverable, and then that's what you get paid for. So the sulfide content is important. All of our mineralization is disseminated sulfide, and we need to demonstrate with the metallurgy, which we haven't had a chance to do yet, that the palladium, platinum, rhodium, gold, copper and nickel are mostly associated with this sulfide, which means that most of it will float out when we undertake that metallurgical test work. So the things to look at for PGE deposits, my view is that sulfides are the better type of deposits. And the palladium grades need to be relatively high, of course, and then you have to have the nickel, copper byproducts which come with it.